Thank you, Matt. It is great to be back with all of you. Thank you for having me. So I'm going to share a little bit about how we're thinking about AI across Amazon. We have been using AI expansively across the company for the last 25 years. But the way that we think about technology, and this goes for AI as well, is that we're not using it because we think it's cool. We're using it because we're trying to solve customer problems. And that's why when we talk about AI, it's typically less to announce that we've beat the best world-class chess player in the world, and more to allow you to have better recommendations and personalized recommendations in our retail business, or to equip our pickers and our fulfillment centers with the optimal paths so we can get items to you faster, or to put it in our Prime Air drones where we hope to deliver items to you in less than an hour in a couple of years, or for our Just Walk Out technology in our Amazon Go stores, or to fuel Alexa, or to provide you the 25 plus AWS AI services so you can build great applications on top of our services. We prioritize technology that we think is going to really matter for customers. And with the explosion of generative AI the last couple of years, we've taken that same approach. There is a ton of innovation, but what we're trying to do is solve problems for you, what we think of as practical AI. And so what have we seen so far? The most success that we've seen from companies everywhere in the world is in cost avoidance and productivity. And you see lots of companies having gains there, but you also are starting to see completely reimagined and reinvented customer experiences. And we see these same trends when we look at the applications that we're building inside of Amazon around generative AI. So I'm going to give you a few examples. So take customer service. We have a retail business with a few hundred million customers. They occasionally need to contact customer service. The vast majority of them prefer to do it in a self-service way so they can do it quickly and take care of it themselves. And we had built a chatbot many years ago, and it of course used machine learning, but it had static decision trees, and the customers had to enter a lot of words before you got answers. So a couple of years ago, we rebuilt this using generative AI. And so now it's much easier for customers. So imagine I ordered an item a couple days ago. I get on the chatbot, the new chatbot. We know who you are, that you ordered a couple days ago, what you ordered, where you live, and we can predict in this model, if you're contacting us just a couple days later, that you might be contacting us about a return. And so when you start to tell us that, we quickly can tell you where the nearest physical location at a Whole Foods or somewhere else is that you can return that item. And then the model is also smart enough to be able to predict when you're getting frustrated with it, and you might need to be connected to a human for resolution. Now, this chatbot, before we re-engineered it, already had very high customer satisfaction, but since we added the generative AI brain to it, 500 basis points better customer satisfaction. That's practical AI. Or take sellers. We have about 2 million sellers who sell in our retail store worldwide. It's over 60% of the units that we now sell. And the way they get a product onto the website is they have to fill out this very long form. And the reason that there are so many fields is we're trying to make it easy for our customers to navigate and understand what the products are. But it's a lot of work for sellers. And so we rebuilt a tool. We basically built a brand new tool using generative AI such that now sellers only have to enter a few words, or they can take a picture, or they can point to a URL, and then the tool fills in a lot of those attributes. It's much, much easier for sellers. And we have over 500,000 sellers now using our generative AI tools. Or look at inventory management. So think about the scale of the problem we have to solve in our retail business. We have over 1,000 different buildings, or nodes as we call them. And everything we do is optimized to get the right product in a fulfillment center or building close to the end customer to save on transportation time, which means we get it to you faster and we do it for lower cost. And so that means at any one point, we have to understand what's in that fulfillment center, what's the inventory levels of each item, which items are being ordered and at what rate. Do we have more capacity in that fulfillment center? Do we need to move inventory around to other fulfillment centers to balance the network? And so we've used transformer models to solve these problems and make forecasts. And already, our long-term demand forecasting transformer models has improved that accuracy by 10%. And then we've also improved the regional prediction accuracy by over 20%. Those are big gains at our scale. Or think about robotics. We have over 750,000 robots roaming our various fulfillment centers, and they have all sorts of AI in them. But I'll give you the example of Sparrow, which is a robotic arm that does resorting. And so if you got a chance to zoom out of our fulfillment centers, it's really an operation that's constantly taking items from lots of different disparate parts and aggregating them into containers so we optimize the capacity we have and the conveyance that we have. And so what Sparrow is doing is it's taking items from one bin and it's aggregating them into another bin. And so what the generative AI needs to do in Sparrow is it has to tell them what's in the first bin, what item do we want them to go pick up. It has to discern which item is which. It has to know how to grasp that item, given the size of it and the materials and the flexibility of that material. And then it has to know where in the receiving bin it can put it. And so these are all inventions that are critical to us changing the processing time and the cost to serve our customers. So we have about 5 of these brand new robotics inventions that we've pulled together in our Shreveport, Louisiana fulfillment center just a couple months ago that we launched. And already we're seeing 25% faster processing times, and we believe we're going to have 25% lower cost to serve during the holidays because of these AI inventions in our robotics. So these are all examples inside of Amazon of cost avoidance and productivity that are having a real impact. But we're also seeing altogether brand new shopping experiences that we're able to generate and invent with generative AI. So a few examples. I'll start with some agents. Let's start with Rufus, which is our shopping agent. So if you're going to buy an item and you know what you want, I would argue that there isn't a better experience than ordering it on Amazon, having it shipped very quickly to your home. However, if you don't know what you want and you're trying to decide, you can obviously do it at Amazon. Many of you do, bless you, and thank you for doing that. However, and you do it through browse nodes, and you do it through recommendations that we make, and you do it through customer reviews. But there's something nice when you don't know what you want about going into a physical store and asking the salesperson, telling them what you're thinking about and having them ask narrowing questions, and then pointing you to maybe the couple items that you want to consider. And then you look at those items, and you don't have all the data in front of you, and you ask that salesperson, well, what about this, what about that? They can answer it quickly if they don't walk away. And then, you have the ability to make those decisions on what you want quickly. And what we're trying to do with Rufus is we're trying to make that experience even better. So with Rufus, you can go to any product detail page, and instead of going through the plethora of information on that detail page, you can ask any question, and Rufus will answer it really quickly. Rufus will make comparisons for you across products and categories. It'll make recommendations. You can make you can ask really broad questions for recommendations, and it'll ask narrowing questions so it gets at really what your intent is. If you say to Rufus, hey, I want that same golf glove that I always get. Can you find that for me, the one I've ordered? Rufus will find it for you. You can say to Rufus, give me the order status of the items that haven't been delivered yet, and you'll get that too. And one of the nice things about Rufus relative to a physical salesperson is that Rufus is not going to take another job in another retailer, or it's not going to start working in another profession. Rufus is going to be there with you all this time, getting to know your intent and your interests and what you want better and better. Or take another agent in Alexa. So when we started Alexa and we shared that our goal and our mission was to build the world's best personal assistant, a lot of people scoffed at that. And they scoffed at it because it's actually really broad surface area and it's hard to do. I think with the advent of large language models and generative AI, it's quite clear that this is going to exist. And I think if you look at Alexa, which has 500 million active nodes between all of the devices that we've sold, and then the way people use this for entertainment and shopping and information and smart home, over 500 million active endpoints, we have a real chance with Alexa to be the leader here. Now, we are in the process right now of re-architecting the brains of Alexa with multiple foundation models. And it's going to not only help Alexa answer your questions even better, but it's going to do what very few generative AI applications do today, which is to understand and anticipate your needs and actually take action for you. And so you can expect to see this in the coming months. Now, in addition to agents, there's a whole bunch of new features that we're able to build with generative AI, which are leading to very different customer experiences. I'll give you a few of these. There's a feature we have called Amazon Lens. So let's say that you're at a friend's house and you see a planter they have that you admire, because this happens to me very often. And you want to know where that planter is from, and you ask your friend, and the friend doesn't know. What you can do today is you can plug into a search engine like Amazon or somewhere else, planter, hanging, macrame. Maybe you'll get a decent answer, probably not. Instead, you can use Amazon Lens, and you can take a picture of that item. And what Amazon Lens is doing is it's using computer vision and then a multimodal model underneath it to do a search query that leads you right to the right search result on Amazon where you can buy it easily. It's really magical and cool. Or take sizing. We have all had this experience where we're buying a shirt and you don't really know if that brand runs large or small, whether you'd be a medium or large in that shirt. What we've done is we built a large language model that takes all the sizing relationships between the many, many brands that we have and compare which ones run like each other, which ones run larger or smaller. And then we're able to look for customers what you've bought before. And when you're at a new brand, we can make the right recommendation for what size you really should order. Very handy, very practical. And then if you look at what we're doing in Prime Video, we have a very deep partnership with the NFL. We've built something together over the years called Next Gen Stats, and we collect 500 million data points every season. And then we've built AI models on top of that. And so you can see some of the features we've built. We've built something called Defensive Alerts, which shows you which defensive player might blitz the quarterback, puts a circle around it, changes the viewing experience. Or we can look at different formations and sets and detect where the defense may be vulnerable. And so we have a defensive vulnerability feature where we can highlight for viewers where the offense should attack. These change the experience for fans. And so these are, by the way, just a few of the almost 1,000 generative AI applications that we are either building or have built inside of Amazon.